I appreciate you joining me today. Hope you're having a good day. We're going to be thinking about when Esau sold his birthright today from Genesis chapter 25. The hymn we are going to consider today is the hymn When We All Get to Heaven.
Sing the wondrous love of Jesus, sing his mercy and his grace. In the mansions bright and blessed, he'll prepare for us a place. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory.
Blessing it is to think about when we all get to heaven. Jesus told the disciples, I'm going to prepare a place for you. I will come again. We think about our inheritance. We think about being at home with Jesus, with the Father. And we don't despise our inheritance. Again, we're going to be thinking about Esau today. So let's look at the passage. This is not Hebrews chapter 12, pardon me. We'll come back and read Hebrews chapter 12 in a moment. Pardon me for that. But in Genesis 25 at verse 29, it says, Now Jacob cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was weary. And Esau said to Jacob, Please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary. Therefore his name was called Edom, but Jacob said, Sell me your birthright as of this day. And Esau said, Look, I am about to die. What is this birthright to me? Then Jacob said, Swear to me as of this day. So he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. And Jacob gave Esau bread and stew of lentils. Then he ate and drank, arose, and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. As we think about the account, I have a lot of trouble with Jacob and Esau. Maybe you do too. Because Jacob, frankly, is a little bit of a scoundrel. He's a little bit of a scoundrel. And I think one of the things we see in Jacob's life is that he's on a journey. At a certain point, God is going to say, No longer do I call you Jacob, I now call you Israel. And Jacob is going to have to learn, he's going to have to learn some lessons. But here at the beginning, the reason I say all that is because when we see him at the beginning, and it's, well, why, how could God show him favor at the beginning? And that may be one of the points of Jacob's life, that it's unmerited favor. And if there's an example of unmerited favor, it's probably Jacob. And that's grace. That's why it's called grace. Did Jacob deserve the birthright? No, not in the least. So let's think about the account. What I would suggest is, especially in light of verse 34, is this passage more about Jacob and his shrewdness and how he's treating his brother? Is it more about that? Or in light of verse 34, is it more about Esau and that he despised his birthright? I consider that idea. That perhaps rather than focusing on Jacob, we might take a moment to focus on Esau. The passage that I accidentally displayed before this is the passage in Hebrews. In Hebrews chapter 12, as we are encouraged, admonished, exhorted, as it says, verse 12, Therefore strengthen the hands which hang down, and the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet, so that what is lame may not be dislocated, but rather be healed. Pursue peace with all people, and holiness, without which no one will see the Lord, looking carefully lest anyone fall short of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up cause trouble, and by this many become defiled. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person like Esau, who for one morsel of food sold his birthright. I just noticed that Jacob's not mentioned here. Esau is mentioned. And so we ask ourselves, how much do we value our inheritance? How much do we value the promises? How much do we value, and how steadfastly do we hold our confession? Do we are we faithful, or do we just treat it like Esau treated his birthright? And he despised it. He treated it commonly. That's how he was profane. He did not value it. It was not sacred to him. And so we ask ourselves, what is sacred to us? Is our inheritance sacred? Is it valuable? Esau, when we look at the passage, and let's go back to Genesis. Esau, when we look in Genesis 25, how would you describe him? Please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary. Look, I'm about to die. What is this birthright to me? What Esau is doing is he's living in the here and now, right? And it's just immediate satisfaction. That's what he's looking for. And he's, oh, what's this birthright? That's down the road. And that's how we can be a lot of times. We can rather than setting our mind on heavenly things, we set our mind on earthly things in the here and now and what pleases us in the here and now. And the birthright for Esau, that's in the future. That's inheritance. I'm hungry now. I'm weary now. I'm tired now. I want what makes me happy now. That is one of the devices of the devil, to get us to pursue, for example, as with Moses, the passing pleasures of sin. And that's the thing. That, of course, sin is pleasurable. Just like that red stew was pleasurable. It was pleasant. It was pleasant. But ultimately, you're going to be hungry again, Esau. But now the birthright's sold. He did not value it. Did not value it. So, how much do we value our inheritance? And the Hebrews passage is a strong passage warning us about pursuing peace with all people. You might think about Esau and Jacob's relationship. What Esau is going to do now is he's going to try to comfort himself by talking about killing his brother. And he's just filled with bitterness. He's filled with bitterness. He's acting like the world acts. And he's acting profanely, and he's profaned his birthright. He's treating it like something common. And what we can say about Jacob is that he wanted it. Esau, he's willing to give it away. We have to apply these things to ourselves and think about our own inheritance and live in the here and now, faithfully looking to that day. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our daily praise.